just touch on one thing that I hear that is, when people run and they're like, I have too many skeletons in my closet to possibly run for office. And it's like one photo of them like drinking underage on Facebook. I'm like, you're fine. You are totally okay. That is not a problem. That is not a disqualification. We have had far worse people in far higher positions than anything you have ever done in your life. So if anyone on this call is thinking, oh no, I have this in my background, there's some things that are pretty trivial that may never come up. And if there is something that's real, right, I don't want to, dismiss the fact that some of us may have done things in our lives that we very truly regret and still feel shame about. Part of the thing that you went through, you are hopefully through it now, you have become a better person because of it. And there is a chance that there are people in your district who are going or have gone through the exact same thing, right? And by running for office, you are providing motivation, you're providing tools, and you're providing a voice for those. They already have their own voice. Let me get that straight. But you are helping to amplify and bring those stories to positions that otherwise wouldn't be hearing them. So I encourage you to kind of flip that on its head and think about how those things that were difficult in your life are also especially powerful for when you choose to come into a position of power. And yes, I see in the chat, also be prepared with a plan if they do come up. Talk to your team. You know what they're going to hit you with. Be prepared to take those hits and how you're going to respond to it.
Yeah, I would just co-sign everything, Ryan, that you just said. I think being in a state like Kentucky, that so many folks come to me with is the Republicans are not playing the same game we're playing, right? Like they are seek and destroy, and what that can do to a person in a small community, what that can do to a person who's got a family, a person who, maybe hasn't identified themselves outwardly as a member of the LGBTQIA community. I get that one actually a lot more than you would think. And I have taken kind of a couple of approaches. The first is to reassure folks like, we've got you. Like I'm not going to ask you to do something and then like drop you because things get hard. Like we anticipate things being hard. I always tell folks when they're scared. I'm a Black dude in Kentucky, first person of color to run either one of the major parties. I'm married to a white woman and I got 3 biracial children. Like, I'm not scared. So let me bear some of that burden for you. But the other part of it is, and I think this is where we as Democrats, and this is a different conversation, but I just want to highlight this. We've got to be more comfortable punching back when they seek and destroy our own candidates, because there's nothing worse than a candidate having all of this stuff come, mailers and ads and all of this stuff, painting a picture of them that doesn't exist at all on Earth 1 or Earth 2. And our response is, that's silly, just let it go. Let's focus on the issue. No, that is the issue. that is an issue, because I've found so many times that what will drive even our voters away is if we don't have the capacity to defend ourselves, we will never be trusted to defend the voters or their families. And so I think, as was said in the chat, understanding what's coming, but also having a plan for how not only the candidate deals with it, but I can't tell you how many Republicans now are like, Coleman, we thought you were so nice. What happened? I'm like, nothing happened. I've never tolerated your BS. I just have a louder microphone to call it out when it comes and to defend my people wherever they are. I think that is really important for folks to know, that we've got their backs and we're willing to defend their character when inevitably, Mitch McConnell decides that this local school race in Oregon is the thing to target because.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And This ties to a question a few people have asked in our Q&A box, but how does that support show up for people from each of you three? And these are just specific to your jobs. Obviously, this is not a universal truth, but this might be some inspiration for other local parties to offer support or other organizations in the same way. So what are some of those ways that you three offer support to candidates and really show them that you've got their backs?
I mean, first you make sure you check with the laws of your state so that you could, whatever you're providing is legal. Because the first thing is I'm like bound by some rules about what I can and cannot do for the state of Massachusetts to help candidates. But mostly my cell phone is the best tool to support people, which is just to listen and be a resource and to not judge and to not sort of be a place of like, you should do it better, but just like, are you doing okay? Are things okay? Like, do you need? So 9 times out of 10, that's the thing, is just to listen and be affirming that what they're going through is real and you know, like, and to hear their complaints. Because a lot of times it gets dismissed as not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it. And you know, I think just being a place to validate that their feelings are valid. And then the other thing we do for infrastructure is we, again, try to have a plan in place to know ahead of time to plan these things out. That's the best way to do it, is to not react, but to have a plan in place that you've already planned to react to the thing, right? So if you're making an emotional decision, you're usually making a bad decision. So I like to make those decisions. I like to know ahead of time what we might face and plan accordingly, just as Coleman said.
I think there's a piece about understanding where each organization, so from me in an organization perspective, but also if I was running as a candidate, what is kind of your group of organizations that are supporting you and what can each of them do, right? So specifically with Emerge, we work to recruit, we work to train, right? Really in-depth training to, again, provide the skills and resources, but also the comfort, also the confidence, also, you know, getting rid of some of these fears of like, oh, I can never do that. It's like, oh no, I did actually call 3 of my family members during mock call time and it was fine. I survived, right? And then we provide this network of support of over 5,000 Democratic women who have also been through the Emerge training program. What we don't do is endorse, right? So thinking about how are then you also working with a group like Mass Alliance in your state, working with Emily's List, working with other groups that do provide that endorsement and campaign support. So thinking about how, as a candidate, you do kind of need to, because of laws, regulations, and because we don't want to step on each other's toes, each organization owns a really great space in this movement. Thinking about how you are relying on multiple different groups for that support, I think is important.
Hi, I'm Katie Porter, and I represent California's 45th District and the people of Orange County. For more like this, please sign up at traindemocrats.org. Thanks so much for watching.